The first rule of
flashing.
You do.
Call your flashes.
Second rule of
Flashing.
is you do.
Call your flashes. Welcome back to the channel. Flashes win rounds, but in PUC they usually just win the enemy team the round.
Are you tired of this?
Yeah, me too. So let's make sure you are not that guy in the first place. Flashes can win rounds, but they are also one of the most overlooked and misused tools in PUC games. Nobody clips the perfect pop flash, nobody brags about the teammate who set them up for an easy entry, or the fact that you force the enemy to fall back and creating space. But those are the plays that actually win matches. And let's be honest, we all had that one teammate who fully blind the entire squad right before they execute. Don't be that guy. In this video we are going to talk about flashes in general, focusing on solo play. How to use them properly, how to avoid blinding your own team, and how to actually make them useful. At the end I will show you a pop flash on banana that these basically cannot react to. We will cover things like using flashes that actually help your teammates, throwing pop flashes without blinding your own team, and timing your utility properly on executes and retakes. If you get these things right, you instantly become the teammate that everyone wants to queue with. Whether you're solo queuing or playing with a full stack, mastering flashes will level up your impact immediately. So if you are ready to stop team flashing and start team carrying, let's get into it. First, quickly about the basics. You have three different ways to throw grenades: left click, right click, and both buttons at the same time. On top of that, you can combine throws with movement: walking, running, moving sideways, forward, backwards. You get the idea. Flashes and AG grenades explode after the same amount of time. So if you are testing a lineup and don't want to get blind, you can just test it with an AG. Ideally, you should have a rough feeling of how far each type of throw travels. It will be extremely useful to understand that, because in many times you cannot just rely on lineups and you will have to improvise. Flashes explode after around 1.7 seconds. In the description I also included the comment that lets you rethrow the last grenade. You can bind it to a key like this. It is super useful when practicing a lineup. Now, watching pro players can show you some amazing pop flashes. The only problem is, those flashes usually require the entire team to know exactly where they pop. And explaining that to a random teammate in PUC in 3 seconds is basically impossible. Unless you somehow figure it out, and please let me know how to do it, because I'd love to know the secret. So that leaves us with one big question. How do you throw a flash that blinds the enemy team but not your own teammates? Let's look at this example. Imagine your teammate is picking B main, and you want to flash for him. In a perfect world, you want the flash to explode as close to the enemy as possible, because that makes the blindness last longer. You could throw it right here, but there's one problem. Your teammate will probably be looking at that direction, and the next thing you hear in the voice chat will be something like, instead, look how much space you have here. You can throw the flash to the right side like this. Now the flash pops behind your teammate, but it still blinds the enemy. I know it's not rocket science, but a lot of players simply don't think about flash positioning like this, and the fact that you need to flash where the enemy will be looking and not where they will be standing. Here's another example. The flash is basically perfect, pops right in the face, enemies have no time to react, and they won't hear you pulling the pin or throwing it. It sounds amazing, right? Well, not really, because your teammate can't peek here without getting fully blinded. There are a few ways to deal with it. Try to explain your teammate that he needs to turn away and peek after the flash. Good luck with that. Another option used to be peeking from here, but there's a bit more complicated right now because of the new window. So what can you do instead? You can either throw the flash higher so it pops above the wall, or you can use a bounce flash like this. Yes, it gives enemies a bit more time to react, but again, it's still better than blinding your own teammate. Some flashes are naturally much safer for your team. For example, take this one on Banana Inferno. The flash pops up here on the balcony, or technically behind the balcony, blinding the side but not blinding your teammates pushing. As you can see, you can even look towards the flash without getting blind. Unless you walk all the way up here just to stare at it directly, but in that case you probably have bigger problems than getting blind. Here is another example for retaking mid. You could throw the flash close to the wall here, but that runs into the same problem we had on Ancient. Your team gets blinded too. Instead, just throw it onto the roof on the right side. Now it blinds the enemy, keeping your teammate safe. And finally, one important thing people often forget. It's not about how you flash, it's also about when you flash. Let's take this long cross flash as an example. Timing here is everything. This flash should explode around 147, so you throw it at 149. That's roughly when the fastest T-spawn can reach the doors. And of course you usually throw two flashes in case they push and only get partially blinded. The standard version of this flash, like pros throw it, is already pretty safe for your teammates. But personally I still prefer throwing it slightly more to the left, just to reduce the risk even further. One last example. Anubis A main as T. You throw the flashes through the window while your team is pushing out of main, not when they are already out. If timed correctly, the flash pops here and blinds player on the side, heaven, and even behind the new box. But if you throw it too late, you will end up with team flashing, and that's exactly what we are trying to avoid. If you are late to the party, it's better to throw them to the right wall behind the fountain, so it pops behind your team. And that's why understanding each throw is so critical. Yes, you do have some lineups, but in majority of cases you will just have to improvise and throw as you go. And now the flash that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. You go somewhere close to this wall, you aim at this sign, left right jump throw, boom. Here are some self-pop flashes for Barrage. That's two. And Inferno. If your flashes are landing in completely random places, that's not utility usage, that's gambling. If you will remember only one thing from this video, please remember this. The best flash isn't the one that blinds the enemy the longest, it's the one that doesn't blind your teammates. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.